So today we're going to be looking at a scenario where Turkey reforms the Ottoman Empire in 2021. Now keep in mind that this video is going to be tilted towards Turkey's favor, so all the battles that are going to be playing out are going to be having a buffed Turkey. So the military, their economy, their personnel, everything like that is going to be upgraded for their sake. It's also important to remember that this video is just for fun, it's not supposed to be realistic, and yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's go ahead and get started. So throughout this video, Turkey is going to be represented by the color of red, and everything that Turkey attacks is going to be represented by the color of blue. Now, there's going to be no NATO, there's going to be no EU, and there's going to be no UN in this scenario, so every nation is on their own. The first thing that Turkey does is go down to Cyprus and declare war on the Republic. Turkey has this kind of weird northern Cyprus puppet state, but no one really recognizes it other than Turkey. So they use that and they invade the rest of Cyprus. Now Turkey does have to come to a deal with the UK here because the UK does have ports all over Cyprus. So they make a deal with the UK stating that you can keep your ports as long as you let us have Cyprus, and the UK agrees. So with that, Turkey takes over the rest of Cyprus. Now Greece does not take this too lightly, as Greece and Cyprus are good friends in real life. So Greece declares war on Turkey just before the peace treaty is signed. And now we have Greece, who's going to be attempting to stop Turkey. So since Turkey didn't necessarily anticipate this happening, Greece does get a little bit of a head start into Turkey, taking over their European portion. Greece starts to near Istanbul until all Turkish troops are ready, and finally the Greek army is starting to be pushed back by the Turkish army. Now we have Turkey pushing into Greek lands, taking over the panhandle of Greece. From here we also have the Turkish navy making landings on Greek islands in the Mediterranean, and they eventually make a landing on the island of Crete. So now going back over to the Turkish invasion of mainland Greece, we have Turkey pushing through the Greek mountains and down into the Greek peninsula. Eventually, Turkey makes a landing in southern Greece and starts to push up towards Athens. At this point, Greece is having to deal with two fronts, and it isn't going too well for them. Eventually, the Battle of Athens happens and Turkey wins. This eventually leads to the fall of Greece. Now remember, I said there was going to be no alliances in this video, therefore France is not going to be helping out Greece. Now in real life, France and Greece recently made a defense pact against, well, I wouldn't say against Turkey, but they made a defense pact, and that isn't going to be into play here. So taking a look at a peace treaty here, we have Turkey 100% occupying Greece. Now, obviously, in real life, Turkey wouldn't be able to hold on to Greece. That would be a mess to hold on to because of all the rebellions, stuff like that. But, like I said, this video is tilted towards Turkey's favor, so they're able to hold on to Greece. The next thing on Turkey's to-do list is actually not in the Balkans, but is focused on Syria. Turkey does have some influence over the Syrian civil war right now, so they go ahead and take advantage of that and start to push into Syria. They push down the Syrian coast and start taking over the middle of the country. Eventually, all the main Syrian forces fall and all of Syria surrenders. Now, I'm not really sure how that would work with all the rebellions and stuff like that, but let's just say that Syria is united under one country, under Turkey. So taking a look at a peace treaty here, we have Turkey, who is growing in size. They have now annexed Greece, Cyprus, and all of Syria. Now this isn't going to be an exact replica of the Ottoman Empire because you would know the results and it would be kind of boring. So I'm going to be kind of shifting it a little bit in order to make it a little bit more interesting. So from here, Turkey decides to invade Iraq in order to get access to the Persian Gulf. They start in the north and in the west and start to invade Iraq. Now Iran has seen Turkey's hostility in the region. It is getting worried about their country, so they decide to join the war on Iraq's side. Now this was definitely not anticipated by Turkey. When they invaded Cyprus, they kind of thought that Greece might have joined, but they definitely didn't see Iran joining in on Iraq's side. So this is going to cause some problems for their invasion. Right away, we have Iran pushing up into Turkish territory and a slight pushback on the Iraqi front line. So with this, Turkey decides to make a front line at the original border, which means they withdraw all their troops from Iraq and set up a defensive line on the border. In addition to this, we also have Iran, which is continuing to expand into Turkish territory, and we even have a breakthrough of Iraqi troops into Turkey. So with this, some Turkish troops fall back, and eventually a front line is made just about right here. So eventually that front line is reached, and now we have the Turkish troops starting to push back. The first counter invasion is up north, with Turkey pushing down into the Iranian captured lands. Then we have Turkish troops in Syria pushing back the Iraqi soldiers, and eventually both the countries are slowly squeezed out of Turkish lands. So now we're right back to square one, and we're going to have Turkey invading both Iraq and Iran. Remember, I'm going to say this one last time, this is tilted towards Turkey's favor. So Turkey starts an invasion of northern Iran and reinvades northern and western Iraq. So now we have Turkey pushing back and making an invasion into Iraq and Iran. From here, Turkey cuts across and cuts off all of northern Iran and gets access to the Caspian Sea. Eventually, Turkey starts to mainly focus on Iraq, as wiping them out of the war might make Iran surrender. Baghdad is captured and all of Iraq falls to Turkey. So now we are left with Iran, who really doesn't have a point in fighting this war anymore. Turkey does a little bit more invading until eventually Iran surrenders and decides to go for peace. So taking a look at the peace treaty here, we have Turkey annexing all of Iraq and taking over a little bit of Iran. Now, the main focus of taking over Iran was taking over the northern part and taking over a little bit of sea access, so they have even more access to the Persian Gulf. Right after this, Turkey decides to invade all of Kuwait and does so very easily. From here, Turkey decides to make a non-aggression pact with Saudi Arabia, stating that they really have nothing to do in Arabia and will not be invading the region. Turkey then shifts its priorities back to Europe and starts to focus in on the Balkans. From here, we have Turkey declaring war on Albania and North Macedonia at the same time, and pushing in and taking over the countries. With that, we also have Kosovo declaring war on Turkey. Now, I'm not really sure how that would work with Serbia and all, but let's just say that they get invaded by Turkey, which then leads Serbia to declare war on Turkey, and Turkey just continues its push up north. After losing about half of the country, Serbia sees no point in fighting, since they say they want Kosovo, but will they defend it? That's the real question. So, taking a look at the peace treaty here, we have Turkey expanding its influence and land over the Balkans. We have the annexation of Albania, North Macedonia, Kosovo, and about half of Serbia. So from here, Turkey sends an Ottoman over to Montenegro, which eventually they do accept it, as they see no chance in defeating Turkey. And we also have Bosnia and Croatia accepting Turkey's Ottoman, which was literally just taking over a little bit of their coast. But now we are left with a Bosnia that is mostly consisted of Croats and Serbs and a lot of other things, but mostly Croats. So I think that we can safely combine Bosnia and Croatia, correct me if I'm wrong. So now we have a half Yugoslavia here, basically. We can get Serbia to join in. They probably wouldn't want to, but then we would have an almost full Yugoslavia. But anyway, as you can tell from the Ottoman, you can see that Turkey really had no interest in pushing up north into Europe, but instead they are now focusing on Eastern Europe with the invasion of Bulgaria. Right off the bat, we have a majority of Turkey's troops over here in the Balkans, so the invasion starts from the west. We're not going to underestimate Bulgaria though, as they do make a little push in the Turkish lands and even cut Turkey into two. But eventually we have this steamroller of Turkey coming through and taking over the capital of Bulgaria. They are then pushed out of Turkish lands, and eventually the country surrenders. So now we have a thick Ottoman Empire. This thing is looking great. Also, I don't know why Iran's so colored in. But Turkey is going to be doing a little bit more expanding in Europe. By a little bit, I mean like a fair amount of expanding in Europe, but let's go ahead and continue. From here, we have Turkey's push up into Romania. Once again, I don't think it's fair if we completely underestimate all these Balkan countries, so Romania does make a little bit of push into Bulgaria. Now, this is easier for them since Bulgarians don't want to be under Turkish rule, so they kind of revolt and help out the Romanians invading. Eventually, though, Turkey does cut off the Romanian troops pushing in, and makes a spearhead over and traps the troops down here. The troops do start to go back to ports in Romania though, as Turkey starts to push back, and eventually the armies flee out to sea. Now the problem with this is that Romania is now landlocked, so those troops are just out there. And now we can see that Turkey does a little bit of a genocide, this time not in Armenia. Turkey goes out of its way to kind of blow up all the Romanian ships out in the Black Sea. Now, I'm not trying to like be mean to Turkey here, I just thought that would be interesting to have an event. But all those Romanian ships are gone now, and Romania is not happy with that. They are so not happy with that they don't even surrender to Turkey, and the country is just annexed. The leaders of Romania refuse to sign any treaty with Turkey, and we're just left with an Ottoman-occupied Romania. Eventually, though, all government officials magically disappear, and we get a peace treaty with Romania and Turkey. And now we can really see Turkey expanding upwards, and there's going to be three more countries that they're going to fight in Europe, and then the rest will be down here in Asia. So Turkey sends an ultimatum over to Moldova, claiming about half of their country. Now, if you don't know what Moldova's constitution is, it's basically stating that they will forever be neutral. So they kind of abide by the ultimatum just so they can stay out of war. So now the Ottomans have one more thing to invade in Eastern Europe, and that is Ukraine. And they could probably get an ally out of this. So Turkey declares war on Ukraine, and everyone saw this coming. We have Russia declaring war on Ukraine. So Turkey and Russia are going to kind of tag team on Ukraine here. We have Turkey invading from the south, and Russia invading from the north and the east. Ukraine is severely beaten back over to eastern Ukraine, and eventually the country surrenders. So now Turkey and Russia kind of have a problem here, and they're kind of curious on who's going to get Crimea here. Now, as you know, Russia already owns Crimea in real life, but Turkey also has a claim on Crimea at this point. So how are they going to negotiate this? Diplomacy really doesn't seem it's going to work out for Turkey here, and war may also not probably work out for Turkey here, so they kind of have to negotiate. Russia knew of Turkey's plans to invade the Caucasus Mountain areas, and they actually strike a deal with Turkey here. They say they will give up Crimea to Turkey as long as Russia is allowed to have all of Georgia and a little bit of Azerbaijan. And with this, Turkey agrees, and Turkey gets Crimea, and the two countries declare war on the Caucasus Mountain countries. This is a pretty swift but also pretty slow invasion of these countries. Now, very mountainous, but eventually Russia and Turkey do go through and manage to knock out both of these countries. So looking at the peace treaty here, we have a pretty straight line throughout the Caucasus Mountains. Russia annexed all of Georgia and about a fourth of Azerbaijan, and Turkey got the rest. So now we are left with a map like this. Now, I'm not going to make Turkey and Russia allies here because I don't really see them working together much more often. They don't really have any other places they can invade together, so there's no point. But now Turkey has one last thing on their to-do list in Europe, and that is to invade a little bit of Italy. So the Turkish army is readied, and Turkey makes a landing in Sicily. Now this would not be easy in real life, but like I said, video is tilted towards Turkey, so Turkey does so successfully and starts to push up the Italian peninsula. After losing lots of their southern lands and almost losing Rome, Italy decides to surrender, offering all their southern lands to Turkey. So after the peace treaty, we're left with a Turkey that looks like this. They have claimed 2 Sicilies and kind of just are expanding across the Mediterranean. And that is all that Turkey is going to be dealing with Europe. So Europe has no more to fear as Turkey is going to be focusing on the Middle East now. The first thing they do is invade Lebanon and Jordan. Both countries are taken and integrated into Turkey. Now Palestine opts in and decides to join the Ottomans. And in a move that everyone in the region supported, Turkey invades Israel. Once again, tilted towards Turkey's favor, Turkey pushes into northern Israel and down, eventually taking over the entire country. There's also going to be no nuclear weapons in this scenario, just because that wouldn't be fair for Turkey as they don't have any nukes. So now Turkey really only has one more place that they kind of want to invade, and that is Egypt. Now this might be one of their toughest challenges so far, but they've been building up their army, recruiting lots of people, improving technology, trading with other countries, stuff like that. So they are 100% capable of doing this now. Turkey starts to push in from the east and eventually captures the capital of Egypt. And with this, they take the rest of the coast of Egypt and push down the coast just a little bit. It is at this point that Egypt surrenders. Now I know that was a very quick war, but this is getting kind of repetitive with Turkey invading and winning, so I want to go ahead and move on. So now Turkey has completed their empire. They are now the Ottoman Empire. Now it isn't to its greatest extent, but it is to an extent of the Ottomans. And it's looking good. So from here, the Ottomans are probably not going to be invading anymore. The only country I can see them possibly invading in the future is probably Libya or Iran and possibly Saudi Arabia if they really wanted to. But like I said, they have a non-aggression pact, so there's no point in doing that. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the states/territories of the Ottomans. I haven't done this before, but I'm going to start doing it on these empire videos because I think it's going to be an interesting aspect. So here we have the Ottoman Empire broken down here. We can see all the states and territories. So at its core, we have Turkey, which annexes all of Syria, northern Iraq, a little bit of Iran, Greece, North Macedonia, and a little bit of Bulgaria. So that is the core provinces of the Ottoman Empire, aka Turkey. Now Turkey is the leader of the Ottoman Empire, therefore I guess it's just called the Ottoman Empire. But now let's go ahead and take a look at some of the states. The first state that we have is Crimea. This is going to be an obvious state since it was owned by Russia recently, therefore they would kind of have to make it into its own thing in order to satisfy the people. Then we have the Ukrainian state, which is probably not going to be too happy with the Crimean state. That's fine though, they're both states under the Ottoman Empire. We have the Romanian state, which consists of Romania and Moldova. We have the Bulgarian state, which is a little bit bigger than normal Bulgaria, but they also lost some land from the Ottomans in the south. We have the Bosniak Albanian state. Now this state could possibly be split into two, with Bosniaks in the west and Albanians in the east. It would probably look something like this if it were to get split. Moving on over, we have the Kingdom of Two Sicilies, except it's not the Kingdom of Two Sicilies. It's just called Two Sicilies because that's where the two countries were at one point. We have Cyprus as a state. Now I was thinking that this could probably just be a part of Turkey because it kind of already, half of it already is. Moving on down, we have Egypt right here, so it's going to be consisting of all the Egyptian lands. And then we have the Palestinian state over here, which actually consists of a little bit of Egypt. We have Palestine and Jordan here. Also a little bit of Lebanon. Over in the Ottomans east, we have the state of Iraq. So this consists of Kuwait and a little bit of Iran. And over here, I forgot what this region is called, but it is a region in Iran, and it is incorporated as a state of Turkey. So put all those things together, and we get the Ottoman Empire. Probably not too held together very well, but it's still an Ottoman Empire, and it was formed in 2021. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. That's very appreciated by me. Once again, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.